Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Here we go. I got to get started because, you know, we're already behind. Good morning. I am Jackie Glass, Mama Navy vet, certified doer, and the laced up legislator for the House of Delegates 89th District, working hard to be the delegate for the House of Delegates 93rd District. Good morning. Good morning. I hope you all have had a week, had a week as the cold has settled in on all of us. I think it jumped on my back the other day, and I said, I don't know how we're going to do this. Getting ready for Tuesday, Election Day, which is going to be a big deal. Good morning, everybody on Instagram. Hope you guys are well. On Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter or X. I have not gotten used to saying that. It's just weird, to be quite frank. So let me start off with a couple things. Number one, we are in preparation mode for Tuesday. What is Tuesday, you ask? Anybody? Tuesday? Anybody know what Tuesday is? Yeah, it's election day. A big deal. Still looking for folks to volunteer to be poll greeters. If you have never done this, let me just say this. I'm not saying this because I would like folks to come out and volunteer for us. I promise I'm not saying this because of that. I am saying this because being a poll greeter is an amazing experience. Um, the first time that I got the opportunity, I was doing it for myself when I ran for school board in 2018. And I didn't realize how much energy people bring to um, the polls, and then just meeting all kinds of people. So we would love to have you for the experience. I can't describe it. And our team, we kill it at the polls. We have won election day every rip. We have won election day. Like, election day has been that day where the certified doers get up, they get out, they get at it. So there's that. We do need support in that way. Number two, yes, we still have opportunities for your support. If you want to donate, we appreciate it. We appreciate it. No money, no mission. We've got people to make sure that we can have them on, keep them on for a bit to get some work done through the end of the year. And we are preparing for session. With that being said, let me give you all a timeline of how things are going to work after after November 2nd. Right? Slow down, Jackie. Can you tell I'm like, let's go? So here's what's going to happen, right? November 7th, November 7th is election day, right? Across the Commonwealth, folks are going to be, some races are going to be clear, cut and dry. Other races are going to be very, very close. As you all know, it is going to be a tight, every single seat in the General Assembly, which is our state legislator, our state government, every single seat is up for grabs, right? So that is 140 people getting elected on that day. There are naturally going to be some races that are close. What happens is, if a race can't be called on that Tuesday, if they can't call a race, they have, most times they will certify. By certify, I mean the respective registrar or Department of Election, the local Department of Elections. For here, our Department of Elections in Norfolk is led by a woman named Stephanie Isles, and an amazing team down there. And they have until that Friday to certify. However, because Friday is a holiday, Friday is considered Veterans Day, they'll probably certify the results by that Monday. And we should know, unless there's some recalls, because I believe it's within 1%, if a race is within, and maybe it's a 0.5%. I cannot remember, because I've had a race that was right. I think it's within 1%. Then you can request a recall. If there's a recall requested, then that's at the cost of the people requesting the recall. Like, they have to pay for that because it costs money to run elections. I don't know if y'all know this, but elections don't just happen. There are people that work as poll workers, right? On the inside. And if you're interested in that, we need more poll workers across the nation. Folks are aging out of that business. So would love to have you in that. But all of that costs. So we should probably know by the following Monday, which should be the 13th, right? 7 plus 6, so the 6th is Monday. By the 13th, we should know what our entire General Assembly is going to look like. Boom, bang. That's a for sure thing. Now, as a legislator, what happens is I have until November 30th. And this is why I'm saying this to you all, because if you have any ideas, I don't care where you live, right? If you have any ideas, things that you want to get, maybe possibly have your legislator carry, we have the people that are elected right now have until November 30th, November 30th to get as much of our legislation drafted. So we have to have all of our stuff drafted and into what is called DLS, and that's the Department of Legislative Services. Those are the people that go in and they make this idea sound like legalese. We have until that day to get them that. So this is a good time, y'all. I'm saying if you're trying to do it right now, it may not be helpful because your particular legislators have their eyes set on election day. However, that day after, that's you're running on a tight timeline. Now, most times new legislators will have an orientation, new staff will have orientation, and we're all working our way up to January. Actually, let me ask what day. Now, the General Assembly starts on the same day every year. If you know what day that is, drop it in the chat. What day or what specific day? And I'll tell you, it runs like Thanksgiving, how Thanksgiving starts on the same day every year. The General Assembly starts on the same day every year. Anybody know? Drop it in the chats if you know what day does the General Assembly start. Furthermore, if you're just joining us for the first time, if you've never been to the Morning Dew for certified doers just like you, if you've never been here, this is your opportunity to converse. You can drop any questions, comments in the chat. You can, it's been a long week with our posts. So if you got questions about the posts we posted or anything, you can drop them in the chat. So what day? And I see good morning, Jason Davis. Thank you. We met the first time when when I was a poll greeter. Hey, what poll did I meet you at, Jason? Tell me. What poll did I meet you at? Because that's a thing. People don't know. It's a whole thing to be a poll greeter. It's not even funny. It's an amazing experience. I guess don't nobody know what day. You don't? No, we don't. So once I explain this, what I will also do, and I'm getting the exact day because I feel like my brain is so foggy that I might say the wrong day. It happens this year. It's going to fall on January. Come on. Let's do it. January 10th, right? January 10th. The General Assembly always starts. Yes, Miss Charlene. Look, she got it. It's the second Wednesday in January. Always put that in your mind. It's always the second Wednesday in January. Boom, bada bang. Done, right? So this year it's going to be on January 10th. January 10th this year. Great job. All right. So that's all you guys need to know from there. In January, we will have a send-off party. We will be doing just sending everybody off, getting ourselves prepared for the General Assembly. So I'll let you guys know when that's going to happen. Now, this week, if you've been locked into what we've been doing, Monday, I had the opportunity to go to the White House to listen to and see the signing of the executive the executive order for AI. So safe, secure, and trustworthy. I see y'all all guessing. So for you guys that are guessing, I see you guessing. It is less about the specific day and more about the fact that it is on the second Wednesday. You got that? Are you locking that in? The second Wednesday, lock that in, the second Wednesday. So if you're ever wondering when we go back, it's the second Wednesday. That That happens every year. Every year. So lock that in. When you think about us going up there to work, that happens every year. But as we go up there to work, we get to pick. No one tells you as a legislator, no one gets to say, you're going to focus on housing. You're going to focus on education. That doesn't happen. You have to determine what areas are you going to hone in on, what's important to you, why is it important? And over that can be really difficult. Because I'd love for you guys to drop in the chat what areas, if you were the legislator, right? Like if you were the elected leader, and please don't tell me I would never, I don't care. But if you were in this position, what would be maybe the two areas, or maybe one, that you would be focusing on? Would you say, you know what, if I had the chance and I did policy making, my area would be this? Drop it in the chat. Tell me, what would you what would you focus on? What area would you be like, that's my stuff, that's my jam, that's what I'm doing? Oh, damn. We met at Jordan Newby Live. Yeah, about the casino. Yeah. Hate that we were right about all that. Hate that. Hate it for us. But tell me, drop it in the chat. What's I try to do this because I'm reading comments so everybody can see what I'm reading. I was reading that Jordan Davis said we met at Jordan Live when I hand out leaflets about the proposed CISO. And I said, I see it casino. Y'all can tell I am tired. I did not get to sleep too late last night. So forgive my slurring of words. And that's still ongoing. Love it. Drop it in the chat. Miss Charlene said if she was a legislator, it would be education and housing. Right? You would focus on education and housing. Please drop it in the chat. What would be your specialty areas? For us, the first year that I was in the legislature, I only could put in 5 bills because I showed up the day before legislative session started. So the next year was the first time that I actually got the opportunity to sort of hone in on the things that I wanted to do. And I didn't necessarily know what areas I was going to specialize in. But as I started doing lawmaking, right, this will be year number 3, some things started to be recurring things. You just don't know what you're going to get into. But I hear you guys say housing and immigrants. Yeah, Elizabeth, I that makes so much sense, right? You have these we all have these things that kind of make us tick. For me, it had been, I didn't realize it, but it had been juvenile justice, right? Like several times I brought forth bills about just how we treat youth in the justice system and how we interrogate them and things like that. I think what's interesting, and we did a lot on like policing and interrogation and things like that. But to the point, Jason even said housing, education, police reform. Okay, so think about this, right? I want y'all to put this in perspective. For the 3 people that did answer, think about this. So Miss Charlene said housing, and she said, I know we were typing fast. It would be housing and education, right? Elizabeth said housing and immigrants. Jason said education, housing, police reform. There are 2 things on that list that everybody put, even though it's just 3 of y'all, everybody put. So for understanding, recognize that there are some key areas that everybody cares about no matter what. And one of those typically tends to be education, right? Education rises to the top on most people's lists. And then there is housing, which rises to the top on everyone's list. There are a couple key things like that. And imagine if every single legislator was like, I'm putting in legislation for education and housing because that's what I care the most about. Everyone said it. Right? Everyone did that. Do you know what that would look like? Just think about that. 140 people, and all they wanted to focus on was housing and education. Think about that, right? That could be really great and really chaotic. You tell me your thoughts in the chat. If we had a General Assembly where everybody just focused on housing, education, imagine. Are you headed out? Oh, no. Okay. That would be wild, right? Like it would be a lot of back and forth. There would be a lot to hold on to that. So recognize when you don't see, and I'm saying this not just for myself, but for other legislators, when you don't see housing or education, any of the bills that they've carried, that does not mean that they don't care. I assure you that does not mean that they don't care. We have the opportunity to do the thing that's called co-patron. So patron or sponsor is when we put that specific bill. Co-patron or co-sponsor is when someone else puts a bill in and we agree with that bill and we're like, yes, that was a great idea. I want to sign on to it. So I want y'all to put in your heads when we're looking at state governance, because we have to look at it more. I am encouraging y'all. We are the middle children. We are between the state and the local. Between the federal and the local, and we do a lot. I didn't realize how important state governments were until I got involved. Holding that in our hands, it's not just about what we bring forth, but what we choose to support. So as you start looking at what people are carrying and you're like, well, you didn't bring no bill for housing or education. Well, also you have an opportunity to look at what other areas are they supporting. So are they co-patroning? Are they co-patroning really good housing and education bills? That means, again, they're signing on. So that is on lis.virginia.gov, LIS. And I'm going to share my screen with you because I want y'all to be able to do this as you think about candidates. Most people are like, I'm just going to go to their website and their website is going to tell me everything I need to know, right? Remember, we build our own websites. There could be half truths up in there. They could be lying, as they like to say on the website. But what doesn't lie is the things that we sign ourselves onto. And I'm going to share the screen so you guys can get a little bit of a picture of how this works. Okay, there it is. You guys ready? All right. Are we ready? Are we ready for this? So this page right here, and if you're on Instagram, I'm on lis.virginia.gov, lis.virginia.gov. So this is already telling you that we had a special session because I want you all to see the 2020 session. I'm going to go to the regular session because that special session, you can see all of the bills, all of the resolutions that we have, the members of the General Assembly committees, state budget, so on and so forth. Now, if you're like, I know that Jackie Glass, but what does she be signing on to? You can go to bills and resolutions, right? And this is going to tell you, all right, if you know a specific bill number, you can type it in there. But you're like, I want to look up the bills by member, by the people, because we're members of the General Assembly. You look up by members. It is in alphabetical order. You can't miss it. So you're like, I didn't pass myself. Right here. Boom. What you got? Jackie H. Glass, Jackie Hope. Let's get it. You go to my profile. Am I moving too fast? Please tell me if I'm moving too fast, y'all. So take a look, right? So up at the top, you're going to see it says my name, all the stuff, where my office number. So if you ever come to lobby, office numbers are there. How to get a hold of me. Then it'll tell you what committees I'm assigned to. That's important. I'm on two separate committees. Now, the chief patron page, right? The chief, remember I said patron? These are all the bills that I brought forth. I know that looks like a lot because I didn't bring, I'll explain in a second. But these are all the bills that I brought forth in the 2023 session, right? All these HBs. HBs are the House bills. HBs are the House bills. I love you. Set your intentions. I'll give you a sweatshirt back. They're the House bills. Now, HJs are House joint resolutions. Those are just when we're commending someone, when we want to celebrate people. And then House resolutions are where we're, again, celebrating someone or anything like that. So those don't go through committee. If you see HJ or HR, they are not going through the committee process. Only the HBs are. So you can look and see all of those that I patron. If I go back, chief co-patron. These are all the bills where I may not have been the person that bought it, but I'm one of the main people to say, I want to be a part of this, right? Like only a couple people, you can only have 4, I think, chief co-patron. These are like, I'm a top dog on this bill. I'm a big, but you only can have a couple people in that. And then you have, lastly, you have what are called the patron, right? The co-patron page. Now, this is where you're going to be like, what? So I got co-patron a ton of stuff, like, right, on prescription drug affordability. Everybody can't bring forth bills on prescription drug affordability. So that is it. And if you just joined us on Instagram, we're on lis.virginia.gov and talking about why not only is it important to look at what your legislator carries as a patron, but look at what they carry as a co-patron too. So just know we can't all carry all the bills on all the things. But if you see that your legislator may not have something that you think is important, like that is not on their agenda, that you're like, look, I would really love for you to do something about this particular thing, or say, like, here's one, I want you to do something about prescription drug affordability. That doesn't mean they can carry a bill. You can ask them, can you please support the Prescription Drug Affordability Board Fund? Can you sign on to that bill? That's just as important as all of the legislation that they bring forth for themselves. Does that make sense? So again, if you're joining us, we're on lis.virginia.gov. That's Legislative Information System. Virginia spelled out .gov. And that's how you can learn a little bit more about what your legislators are actually carrying and supporting. All right. Like that is equally as important as what they decide to carry. If you have any questions, please go ahead and drop them in the chat. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, drop them in the chat. So let me also do this thing. Another piece of that is understanding where we stand. So just as I just showed you all about LIS, Legislative Information Services, and then showed you all about how to look up, like, this is accountability. This is about just the ABCs of government. Y'all remember the ABCs? Please tell me you know the ABCs, because I try to preach the ABCs. A, accountability. B, boldness. C, coalition building. That's what we're doing, because I believe that if we educate each other, we can be better advocates. We can celebrate our small wins, and then we can legislate. Right? That's our goal. Educate, advocate, celebrate, legislate. The ABCs, with the ABCs in mind. Right. Any questions? I'm not seeing no questions on Instagram or on all the other places. Any questions about this? Comments, concerns? So when like I said, because of the trip, I put this out there for you all to see. Because of that trip to the White House, we've been working on just trying to get folks to understand that AI is like, we can't not do anything. We can't just be like, nah, I don't know about no AI stuff. We can't. That's not a thing. So over the summer, a couple legislators and myself, actually, Michelle Maldonado and Rodney Willett, we sort of got together, and they're both up in the Northern Virginia area, got together and we're like, yeah, this is pretty important. Let's figure out how we can start working together. Delegate Maldonado, who's again up in Northern Virginia, she started what's called the Technology and Innovation Caucus. So when I say caucus, that's when just a group of us kind of get together and we decide, we're going to be leaders on this issue and create space for more education on a particular issue, right? We have this like-minded view on something. So this caucus, we've been working over the summer, just trying to collect people. I'm not a bone collector. Collectively get state agencies and stakeholders, which people who care, stakeholders are people who care, in the same room to talk about AI. For me personally, right? I gotta stop saying that because people like they don't care about your personal opinions. People don't care. It's not about your personal opinions, it's about the community. So when I say that, I mean the thing that rose to the top was public awareness and education on AI, right? What happens when you're like, I don't trust AI, period. It's just bad. And you're like, I can't stand AI. When you don't have a clear understanding, then that makes it really hard for us to use it in a good way. So there are opportunities, but there are also risks with technology. Does anybody remember when Google came out? Like when Google like popped off, when it was like, yo, Google is like everything. Does anybody remember what happened with Google? No? Pausing for a second. Well, let me tell you, when Google popped off, everybody was like, Google is going to ruin education. It's going to ruin people. It's going to do all these bad things. That is comparable to what we're seeing with AI, is that there are advancements that people are going to make. There are possibilities. We're trying to figure out how we use it in education, how we use it in policing, how we use it across the board, for the advancement of society, because it's not going to go away. So that this executive order that we went to the White House to see signed is just a step in a direction. Now, do I believe it's 100% the right direction? Not necessarily. I think we're missing the mark on some things. Everybody with opinions are like buttholes. Everybody got one. I'm going to have one too. There are some steps that I think that some places where we might be missing the mark, but it takes work. This is ongoing work. I see I got a question, and we got about 3 more minutes. So if you have a community event or you want something you want me to shout out, is it somebody's birthday? Somebody just had a baby, whatever it is, you got something going on in the community, go ahead and drop it in the chat. Drop it in the chat. So Miss Charlene says, does your support of AI bills relate to your bill about false documents with police? Oh, that's a great question. Great question. So the question in Instagram, Miss Charlene on Facebook asked, does your support of AI bills relate to your bill about false documentations by the police? If for everyone's understanding, for 2 years in a row, for the 2 years that I've been in a General Assembly, I've been trying to get it so that police cannot use false documents in interrogation practices, especially false documents that have credible agencies letterhead on there. For context, you can look this up. There was a big story where the Virginia Beach Police Department was caught faking forensic documents during interrogation. And some of that fake documents made it into a case file, which was only caught because a lawyer was trying to verify that document. That's a problem. No, my AI bills are not related to false documents, but I did say in last year when I brought the bill about youth interrogation, we want to stop. I just think that if we're going to teach young people to trust the police, right? Like we're saying, the police, they the homie, they good, right? We need to trust them. We can't then also say that when you go to the police station, they will lie to you as a minor, right? That's perfectly legal. My question to the folks that represent a lot of the law enforcement agencies was like, what happens if the police decide that a bad actor, right? Like, and bad actors can mess it up for everybody. What happens if they decide, I'm going to show this kid a deep fake of their face doing something and show this to them and interrogate with that? Is that okay? And they said that is perfectly legal. Now, does that mean that police are doing that in practice en masse? No, it does not. But it means we're leaving space for it. So if it has, so you get where I'm going with this. This is why this is so important. And I appreciate that. But we will be bringing the falsified documents back. I'm going to bring it back every single year until we get that right. We shouldn't be faking documents, especially official government documents. Not happening. If you signed your cousin's name on a ticket, you can be charged you can be charged. I can't remember what you charged, but I was like, yeah, if I fake somebody else's signature on a ticket and pretend like I'm somebody else, you can be charged for that. So we're not doing that. So we're trying to figure that out. we're trying to figure that out, but this bill does not. This talks about workforce development, and I'm sorry, I'm blinking. I did have a very long night, so forgive me. I have two AI bills about autonomous. Actually, that if you check out my Facebook post, we should have just released a post about the two AI bills that we're bringing forth. Okay. So over on Instagram, we have here Legacy. I hope I'm saying it right. Legacy James Doe. Legacy James Doe says, yes, I remember when Google search were considered cheating by the general consensus of educators. Yeah, cheating. Like this is a tool. What? I feel like Ja Rule, well, with Google, where would I be without you? Right. Like when it comes to Google, it's like it's a whole word. It's now in our language as a verb and a noun. So yes, that is yeah. Elizabeth Legacy James Doe says, "Hi, wow, I don't remember that with Google." Yeah, Google. They were like, Google was going to ruin the world. It's going to ruin us, but it didn't. It did ruin some things, but also we just have to. I think what we have to hold in our hands when we talk about AI and we talk about bringing new technologies is how do we still allow for critical thinking and creativity, right? Because that is how we solve problems. That is how we advance in life. How do we hold this technology in our hand and still make space where in the, I'm just talking specifically in the education system, that we can still get our young people to be critically thinking about issues and be creatively thinking. And that's where I sort of stand, is if we're going to mix the bunch, if we're going to bring them to the table, then let's use them as really amazing tools to help folks do better. Yeah, she said, wow. Like says, wow, I never thought about the use of deepfakes in the context. Oh yeah, I did. I'm just doing, we cannot be playing about, we cannot be playing. Legacy said there's definitely level of Legacy James Doe. So this is on Instagram for everybody else. Said there's definitely a level of education and acclimation that needs to be done around LLMs and AI. I agree with you. I agree with you. And we do, to your point, a legacy is we got to meet people where they are and show that AI is not outside there. Yeah, that's real. And Legacy brings up a good point. I'm saying this to you all too on the other spaces. What he said, and I'm assuming it's a he. So if I'm not using your right pronoun, please, I can call me in before you call me out. Check me, right? Legacy said, meeting people where they are and showing them that AI is not outside their wheelhouse of comprehension is important. And Jason even said students using AI to generate term papers could definitely be an issue. Yes, yes, all of this, right? But realizing that AI is not just about papers. It's not just about deep fakes. When we talk about customer service, it's already being used in some of our customer service. When you talk to when you're texting back and forth with the bot, that is AI can learn, right? The thing about it is we just don't know the capability. And shout out to humans, right? For just being humans and doing dope stuff. And now we're in a world with AI, like that's real. But there's always going to be associated risk with any new thing that we bring into our world, because there are people that have very different intents. I'm also looking at, and I don't think we'll bring a bill forth this year about this, but we're also looking at AI and creativity, right? Being able to ensure that people's creativity is not, or creatives, right? People in the creative sector, how AI is, how we protect their intellectual property. Is AI generated? Can that be copyrighted? There's so much. It's so expansive. Remember what I talked about earlier, though? Like some of these issues, everybody loves them. They're so expansive, but everybody can't do all the things on all the issues. So I encourage you all, because I got to get off of here, because I ain't even supposed, I'm already 10 minutes over. I'll do this last. Hold on. Let me do this last. Elizabeth agrees with Jason. Jason said, like, people writing term papers. My friend is a director of director of the Peabody Awards and writers' strike this summer. That was what concerned for him, especially with all sorts of writers, not just in Hollywood. Yeah, being replaced, workforce, all that stuff, all of that. Yes, about taking other people's work. That's real. So, what I have to say to you all, right? What I have to say to you is that having these conversations is equally about educating, but also about paradigm shifting. I need you. We need you. This office needs you to figure out what is that thing that matters the most to you. It could be AI and creativity. It could be police interrogations. It could be a specific thing, because when we talk about education and housing, those are massive. They are massive. And I need you to pull that in, right? What piece of that is important? So when I think about education right now, my wheelhouse, or where I'm focusing on, is attendance, right? Attendance is a huge thing. And also safety, right? Like actually learning from people that are in the system, what does safe mean to them, and how can I use my role to be a better advocate? So when you all choose to pick your thing and become brilliant on that thing, because you're going to read more articles, do more research, interact with more people, you're going to put yourself in a space where you become essentially an expert. And then you can help us learn more, because I can't retain all the information about all the things, but I can guarantee you there are thousands of bills coming my way every single session. And I'm looking for people in my own backyard. They say, hey, like, I got this bill. Can you tell me from your lens how it might affect our community? Can you give me a better understanding of what this could mean? I need you to be brilliant on the thing that matters to you and share that. Call me in before you call me out on that thing. We do our best to make the best decisions. Okay. Can we do that? Can we do that, y'all? Can we pick our thing and be a good advocate, and also be an educator? So when I say educate, advocate, celebrate, legislate, I don't just mean me educate you. I mean you educate me too. Because as you get up in leadership, which is my chief of staff always reminds me, remember, when you start moving up in leadership, you lose clarity from the ground. Right. So I'm not in the streets as much as I used to. I need you to fill in that gap on things. And also that helps us with time, right? With time management. All right. Last two comments and I'm peacing out. Legacy, James Doe says, creating future jobs through arts and culture is my thing. Yes. You're speaking my language. We're doing so much work on the creative economy. Look, some of the job, every kindergarten right now, look at the kindergartners that are in school right now. Those kindergartners, so a lot of their jobs haven't even been created. Would you have ever imagined someone being a daggum data miner? Data miner, what does that even mean, right? That's a whole job. Social media manager. That wasn't a job when I was growing up, right? So like, to Legacy James Doe point is that he is into job workforce development through arts and culture. And that is a lane that I'm willing to drive in, right? Like, we've got some creative stuff going, but also I might have to lean into you when I see some of this stuff coming up, and get your feedback and help me do this better as a representative. I think you want me to be a little bit knowledgeable. And then lastly, Elizabeth said tenants' rights, specifically low income, at trailer parks Section 8. Love to hear it. Love to hear it. I'm not carrying, actually, I'm carrying one housing bill. And the housing bill that I'm carrying has to do with the housing authorities. Because that has been a thing on my list. I don't know how that came in, but housing authorities is an important piece to me. Like, I'm over it. I think that our housing authorities, through lack of funding and among other things, are not being of service. They're not being of service. So we got some work to do. And it's not always the people working in the institution's fault, for real. All right. So with that, I appreciate you too. I appreciate you hanging in there with you. I appreciate y'all just showing up this morning. That's a thing too. You could be anywhere in the world, like JC said, but you're here with me, and I appreciate that. And thank you. So gratitude for sharing this space. What am I saying? I hope you are able to make it a great day. Make it a great day. I'll see you on election day. Or if I don't see you wherever your respective spaces or places across the Commonwealth, please get out and make it happen. You can vote on Saturday if you want. If you choose to come out the last day to vote, which is Tuesday, awesome sauce. Great. I'll see you there. Right. I'll see you there. If you want to, if you're interested in working and being a poll greeter for us, please go to the website, delegatejackieglass.com, and fill out the form. Say, yes, I want to be a poll greeter, or just message us and say, I want to be a poll greeter. Help me. Help me. Come on. Let's get to work. Elizabeth, let's touch base about juvenile justice bills that hook me up. You're more than welcome to connect the dots to me, to people you think I should talk to. That goes for everybody. She's like, hey, I want you to connect you with the director of this program. I'm here for it. If we'll figure out where we have the bandwidth. You are very welcome. I try, right? Thank you, Lisa. I miss you. Let me announce this. Okay, the 3rd annual Loved Ones Gone But Not Forgotten, hosted by Miss Janice Taylor. Okay, y'all. Miss Janice is a lovely woman who just pulls people together. And basketball event is going to be at Northview Middle School. Miss Janice, is that this weekend? I thought that was next. I thought that was next weekend, but I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. At 2 p.m. and at 6 p.m. at Northview Middle School. I'm just verifying, Miss Janice. If you can drop that in the comments. That's over on Instagram. Y'all be well. Be well. If you're going to act up, lift people up. It's 11th. That's what I thought. Okay, so the Northview Gone But Not Forgotten basketball event is on the 11th, with this next weekend, next Saturday. I will see y'all next Thursday. If I don't see you next Tuesday, come out and work with us, y'all. I need you. Come on. All right, till next time, I'm Jackie Glass, mama, Navy vet, certified doer just like you. This has been the Morning Dew for certified doers like me and you. Certified doer, and I messed myself up. Jackie Glass, mama, Navy vet, certified doer, and the laced up legislator for the House of Delegates 89th District, working my butt off to be the delegate for the House of Delegates 93rd District. Let's get it. Tuesday, last day. Oh, I'm putting this out to y'all too. Don't forget you can do same day registration, right? If you bump into somebody and they like, I can't vote, I ain't registered, you can do same day registration. Stop playing. You can do same day registration. Okay. All right. Be well. Bye, y'all.